So, my brothers and sisters, my name is Tim Heijer and I am a dragon witch. I just went to the Netherlands yesterday. I just back now, and it was an amazing time that I had. An amazing time to visit an amusement park. And you have to know something for my American brothers and sisters. Our European theme parks are most of them are made so that you can feel in a different world. Most of them. I can understand that in America it's more like you have Disney and Universal, but most of the other theme parks are naked, or Snickers the ride, or Coca-Cola the ride, as I have seen. Here in Europe, it's much more themed, much more that you are in a different world. And this park that I've just been to has been themed to myths and legends and fairy tales, the Efteling. And a lot, of course, with this, there is a lot of dragons in it, a lot of dragons. And there is one ride that I have difficulties with, and that is George and the Dragon, or Joris and the Draak. And this ride, it's a dueling wooden coaster. It's supposed to, yeah, there is a big statue of a dragon with eggs beside her. And it's supposed to, you're supposed to be Joris or George and to kill this dragon. And I have these difficulties with this. I said this to the Efteling management, so maybe that is not good because that is hurtful to kill a dragon. You know, some people believe in dragons. And they said they don't want to make a statement, it's just a myth. It's just a myth. And that is why I want to talk to you about the legends and the myths. Whenever I talk about the dragon gods, and you have to know something about this, and you might not want to know this, but I just want to make a statement for myself. I do not follow a religion, and neither do I want you to follow a religion. A religion is static. You know what the laws are, you know what the law is, so don't go off of your line. It's like this, and you follow this or you follow this not. That is religion. And I've seen this with a lot of comments with brothers and sisters. Whenever I talk about Tiamat with love, whenever I talk about Fafnir with love, whenever I talk about Quetzalcoatl with a lot of love, and whenever I talk with Leviathan to purify his name with a lot of love, I always distract myself from what the lore said. And that is what a lot of people actually on the Dragon's Path don't really like what I do. Whenever I tell you the story of Tiamat, for example, that she was split in two by Apsu after her husband was slain, so the battle of the heavens started. So whenever she was split in two, she was split here on earth. So she was, in the lore, she was considered as dead. Tiamat is dead inside of the lore. But I do not follow that lore. I follow a bit of it. What is true about legends? Legends and myths or stories. Only that part of it. The other part is something to discover. So that is the same with legends. For example, Jesus is a legend, not a story that should be 100% true. Because I want to think about this. Stories like this are a bit true. But the other one are made up. So that is made up and that is what is true. In Tiamat, for example, who saw that? Who saw Tiamat fighting against the other gods? What kind of a human being saw that? That the only human being that can know that is that one of the gods told us human beings of whatever happened. Same thing with Fafnir. A lot of people actually are angry whenever I say it's a human being born as a human, and then with a dragon soul, he changed into a dragon. In the lore, it said it was actually a dwarf who was actually sick of the gold that he has stole, the gold from Odin. He killed his father, and then he went mad. And out of this madness and greed, and the sign of greed is dragon. And that is what a dragon was, according to the lore. But I distract once again. I saw him and felt him that he was born as a human, not a dwarf, because this world is not Lord of the Rings. This world is not fantasy. This is what makes our dragons as fantasy, and I want to get rid of that. The lore can be changed by you, because we are not a religion. Inside of a religion, you don't change the lore. You do it, but here you can have many versions of it, how you feel it. Because that is what I always say what the Dragon's Path is. The Dragon's Path is your feeling, your story and how you experience it, how you see the story. Isn't this beautiful, my brothers and sisters? How I felt it. I am home here in this forest, and everywhere I go, I just feel home. And whenever I feel the forest, I feel Tiamat. But I always, because I knew the lore, but I didn't understand why do I feel the dragon goddess so well here? Why is it that she touches my heart here every single time? Because in the story it was said she was split in two and she was dead. Well, no, because Marduk supposed to created the earth with her body, with her energy. Without her energy, there is no forest. Without her body, there is no earth. So that is how I felt it, how I see it. Every time when I touch the ground, every time when I feel something of her, I feel her heart still beating. So that is not the lore. That is how I feel it. That is how I experience it. And that is the entire point of the dragon's path. And I hope you understand this. So actually, for example, Quetzalcoatl. Let's take Quetzalcoatl. The story of Quetzalcoatl is indeed that he was the only god that the Aztecs worshipped that didn't demand a sacrifice. But that is it. But I felt something different with him. And that is where I base my entire dragon's path on compassion. Because he had compassion. When they slayed something in his name, he said, no, I don't need that. So I felt whenever you give something to Quetzalcoatl or the other dragons, you give something of yourself. Because that is a true sacrifice. Not out of death, but life. And of course, Leviathan, if I would follow the lore of Leviathan, Leviathan would be the devil himself, Satan himself. If I follow the lore, the true lore of the Bible, I follow it that Leviathan is one of the 7 kings of hell. And what is true about this? You know, you cannot say what is true about this. You haven't witnessed this. And that is what I don't understand from religions. I mean, Muhammad went inside of a cave, talked to Allah, and no one was witnessing it, yet it was lore. Just the same thing with Jesus and things like this. No one was witnessing these events, yet it was written down. How so? They never saw it. Just the same thing with the lore of the dragon gods. For example, there was a great Christian, you know, he was very Christian, but he was tattooed everywhere. And I know, as an ex-Christian, I know very well the Bible, that it was forbidden to put tattoos on your body. So I said to him, that is not Christian. You know, everyone, Christian or Catholic, would be against that. So if you are Christian, why would you do that? Or maybe there was a gay person, you know, a friend of mine, he was gay, and he was also very Christian, but also the Lord said, no, you cannot be. But those are ones who go just the same thing as what I do with dragons. I go with my feelings, and I know, and these people, for example, they know it's all right to be gay. They know it's all right to have tattoos on your body because they don't believe the lore 100%. They distract from it. And that is exactly what I'm doing with the dragon gods and their stories. I do follow the lore. I follow the lore, but wherever it's impossible, I do not follow it any longer because you do not slay a god. That is what the point is of a god. They are eternal and you cannot slay them. And inside of the lore, it said that Tiamat is dead. There is no Tiamat anymore. But I do not believe that because I feel her everywhere. And that is also the entire point. Whenever you feel it, you should embrace it. But you say, I cannot feel this because the Lord said, no, that is not the point. And that is also why I'm always saying, leave the books behind, leave the scrolls behind of ancient times. You know the basics of the lore. Something of it is true. That is legend or myth or even a fairy tale. That from it is true. There is something of it true. But being a dwarf with a dwarf kingdom like Gimli from Lord of the Rings. I do not believe that. That never happened. Also, it never happened that they killed Tiamat just for the sake of, oh, good wins over evil. No, because she was very much, still to this day, very much misunderstood. That is typically people who have religions. You know, Tiamat is for Tiamat or Leviathan. They are all evil. I mean, Fafnir or even Quetzalcoatl, as seen as the morning star. All of the 4 dragon gods are seen now as evil because they follow the lore. And the lore said they are darkness. I do not say so because I feel, for example, here in this forest, I feel Tiamat everywhere. And Tiamat is so close to my heart. And that is why I'm always returning, why I feel so at home wherever there is so much forests, so many trees. I just feel her heart still beating. There is something of the lore true, but not all of it. And I'm actually a bit sick of it. Whenever people say, that is not what the lore said, I don't care. I don't care what the lore said, because they didn't witness that, those who written that lore. They didn't witness it, they didn't witness it, they just heard it. And you know, if you hear it, and you hear it, and you hear it again, then you make mistakes. Then not everything is correct. So I do not follow. Tiamat is not dead. And Leviathan is not Satan. Quetzalcoatl is, in my eyes, the Lord of compassion and love. And because I'm a vegan because of him. And of course, Leviathan, Quetzalcoatl, he was not a dwarf, he was not Satan, she's not dead. And goddess, Leviathan, Quetzalcoatl, Tiamat, Fafnir, they are all of them. I mean, all of the 4 dragon gods, they have different kinds of stories to tell. And the one who's supposed to listen to their story is you. And that is why I'm actually asking to you, my brothers and sisters, whenever the dragon speaks to you, through feelings, through instincts, it is the time to listen, to know what the full story is. Even though people don't believe me and things like this, I don't mind that. And I can only tell you my story, how I see it, how I feel it, how I experienced it. I cannot prove it all if my version of it is true, but that is the thing, you know, it's your version, it's your dragon eye, it's your path. And that is why I renamed Draconic Wicca in the Dragon's Path. Because Wicca, it's misunderstood as religion. We are not a religion. It's draconic, but it's not Wicca. That is why I say it's the dragon's path. The dragon's path in itself. The legend of the dragon, you know, lives on within us. The legend of the dragon, it's just a legend, not lore. But what the lore truly is for you to discover.